So I've been watching the Deadpool movies. We're talking several times now. In researching my video on absurdism, I probably need therapy. And while doing so, something struck me. What does Deadpool mean when he says maximum effort? Now, I know what the words mean. I mean, I'm educated and all, but when we say things, we don't always mean what the words mean. Sometimes we mean something else altogether. So I analyzed all the instances in which he used this phrase and kind of broke them into three main categories. The ironic wisecrack. At the beginning of Deadpool and Deadpool and Wolverine, the phrase is used as, well, little more than just sort of an ironic wisecrack, very much on brand for the character. His passive, deadpan, almost bored delivery of this phrase stands in stark contrast to the asinine maxims spouted off by hustle culture bros that clog the internet. We can see this when he launches himself off the bridge in pursuit of Francis.
Maximum effort.
Or when preparing to take on a bunch of TVA Minutemen armed with nothing more than batons.
Maximum effort.
He's not really using the phrase to muster his inner resources in preparation for the coming battle. If anything, he's mocking the idea that he needs to give anything more than 20% to accomplish the task that's before him. It's like amping yourself up with quotes from David Goggins or Tony Robbins to get out of bed in the morning. Now, sure, you could do that, but now just hear me out, or you could just get the fuck out of bed. The third act marker. The second instance is even more mundane than the first, but in some ways it's no less ironic. Simply put, it's a third act marker, something he says to signal the start of the third act battle. He does this in both Deadpool
And maximum effort.
and Deadpool 2.
Maximum effort.
This is a common literary technique in many movies used to signal the beginning of the third act for the audience, promising resolution to the conflict that has been building in Acts 1 and 2.
I aim to misbehave.
May the force be with us.
A cowboy doesn't leave his herd!
You are a sporting goods salesman!
Not today.
But Deadpool's use of this literary technique is once again ironic, this time in sort of a meta sense. As we discussed in our previous video on absurdism, Deadpool is aware of the fact that he's a fictional character in a movie. So using this catchphrase to signal the beginning of the final battle, well, it's sort of a meta act of self-awareness. The call to action. The ironic wisecrack and the third act marker, these are the sort of things we've come to expect from Deadpool and his sort of meta fourth wall breaking, style. But there are times when this phrase means, well, more, a lot more. And it's at times like these that the phrase really gives the character in the movie heart. You see, most of the time, Deadpool is just, well, he's just fucking around and being a clown. I mean, the merc with the mouth. What kind of douchebag calls himself the merc with the mouth? The kind of douchebag who wouldn't care that someone like me would call him a douchebag. But now and again, the character of Deadpool fades ever so slightly into the background and allows Wade Wilson, our scared and flawed antihero, to shine forth a little bit. And these are the moments that give us the tingles. We can see this a few times, like when he tries to psych himself up to talk to Vanessa.
Maximum effort.
Then again, when he saves her.
Maximum effort!
But most dramatically, and perhaps most earnestly, we see this just before the battle with all the other multiverse Deadpools, the battle to save his reality.
All right, let's do this. Maximum effort.
Now, I know you might be saying, hold on, this is just another third act marker. And yeah, you would be right. But unlike our other third act markers that were before just normal battles and so forth, this one has heart. The stakes have never been higher, and all that he loves, we're talking Vanessa, his friends, his reason for being, all of this hangs in the balance. This battle, it's for all the marbles. That, and there's a kick-ass score from Madonna, so yeah, it just means more. Okay, so listen. I know I've been talking about Deadpool here, probably the most irreverent, profane, disrespectful, and tactless character ever put to screen. But I want to connect what we've discussed here with something very real, and frankly, probably too sacred to bring up in this context. But I'm going to do it anyway. On September 11th, 2021, the passengers of United Airlines Flight 93 prevented the 9/11 hijackers from crashing into the United States Capitol, sacrificing themselves in the process. One of the many heroes who led this charge was named Todd Beamer. Beamer, along with Mark Bingham, Tom Burnett, and Jeremy Glick, came up with a plan to try and take control of the aircraft. They were joined by several others and prepared to storm the cabin. After saying the Lord's Prayer, Beamer was heard to say, "Are you ready? Okay, let's roll. Let's roll." This isn't a phrase that just came out of nowhere. My guess, and this is just a guess, is that he said this phrase 1,000 times before heading out on a road trip or for any other reason. I mean, it's just a saying. It's nothing special. But when he said it that day, and in those circumstances, this simple phrase took on new weight and gravitas. When he said, "Let's roll," he transcended from being a passive means to an end determined by the hijackers, into a commanding actor in his own story. So yeah, I don't know why. I screw around in these videos. I goof off. I get it. But I just really wanted to acknowledge that while we laugh and cringe at Deadpool, there are real heroes out there who make this shit real. Okay. Sorry about the tonal shift. Life is absurd. Deal with it. All right. That's all I've got for today. Now, go off and make some trouble, and we'll talk again soon.